Hey, fearfully, wonderfully made family. Today is Thursday, November 6th. We are closely and fastly approaching the end of 2025. When I tell you 2025 has been a whirlwind for me, a tailspin, a head turner, a nail biter. As you all know, at the beginning of the year, I lost my mother. And I affectionately called her my little old lady. And she loved it. She loved me calling her that. She got a kick out of it. And I would say, "Hi, my little old lady." And then I, would kiss her and, harass her as children do their parents. That was one of my favorite pastimes, to harass my parents. I genuinely enjoyed harassing my mother and my father. It was like a part-time job for me. But anyway, seriously, I cannot believe that it's going to be almost a year in less than a month and a half since I buried my mom. And when I tell you that we often think that we're mature, but we don't understand the level or the lack of maturity until we have to step up and fill the shoes of our parents. I've always thought of myself as being very mature and very wise in a lot of areas. And not to say I know everything or nothing, but I've always, and I'm going to say this in this way because I don't want to make it sound in a bad way, but I've always prided myself in sitting under good leadership, under good mentorship, seeking wise counsel, praying, all of those things. Just sitting in the presence of God, learning and asking every day for Him to give me wisdom. But when I tell you this level of maturity and step up, y'all girl wasn't ready for that. And I don't care how old you are. I don't think a child is ever ready to lose their parents, because there's something within us that still is childlike. At least for me, it's true. I don't know about anybody else, but for me, it's true. And, there's something within us, even if we're adults, there's something within us that says we still need our mom. We still need our dad. And in my case, I still needed my mommy and I still needed my daddy. Although I'm a grown full adult trying to navigate through life as an adult. But the crazy part about this whole journey for me was, I think my mother for some time was trying to get me to take over a lot of things, because she would have me paying bills, doing certain things. I had to be all in her financial business and all this other stuff that I really didn't want to, because I was like, "Listen, mama, this is your money. I have nothing to do with it." And I'm not one of those people that count another man's money. I just do not. I don't look to gain advantage or anything like that. Well, needless to say, I was always looking for opportunities I can help my mom. And I'm so blessed that at some point in my adult life that I was able to help my mom out, especially when she first lost my dad. My mother was a widow at 56, and my mother was not working. And she had to reestablish her life, and she still had a house, and she still had bills, and she had this and that. And I was one of her children that stepped up to help her, because I believe in what the word says, to honor thy mother and father, so that thy days upon the earth shall be long and all will be well with you. And so I've always done that. Now, that doesn't say me and my mother had a perfect relationship, because me and my mother's relationship was very tumultuous at one point. And that was because of the upbringing that she had, and the baggage that she brought along with her, and the hurt and the pain, and hurt people hurt people. But the one thing I'm blessed to know, that my mother was this beautiful individual. She became this rose, and she tried to be better. And I appreciate my mother for that. But needless to say, the road that has been difficult for me is that I had to step up in a way that I just felt in my heart I wasn't ready for. But God knows you better than you know yourself. And you can sit up here and say, I'm not ready for that, and I don't think that. Listen, whether you're ready or not, sometimes you're going to get thrown into the water, and it's either sink or swim, pretty much. But I realized when my mother got towards being really ill, where I had to make all of her medical decisions, and I could no longer talk with my mother and get any advisement from her. I had to make all the choices. I realized my mother had now become the child, and I had now become the parent. And there are times in your life where you never think that you will actually have to resume that role. Because my mother was never fragile. She was the strongest, most tenacious, fierce person that I've ever met in my life. And stubborn. Stubborn. But she had to be, because of the things that she had to endure. And she would say to me, Kesa, where's the fighting you? Why aren't you fighting? And she was, she saw me kind of cowering down a little because of things going on, and me getting tired. And, because sometimes we get so tired. We're in storms so long that we get tired, y'all. And then I would have, my mom was like, I didn't raise you like that. And, she just would do this pep talk. But then, you get to the point where you're the one having to give the pep talk. You're the one that's having to love. You're the one that's having to shield and protect. And you don't even know if you're doing it right. But nevertheless, guys, that's why I said, there's so much to this journey that I'm sharing with you all that has been crazy. But then I'm reminded of the word that I can do all things through Christ, which strengthens me. Although you don't want to do it, but you have to do it. And that's the level of maturity that I'm tapping into. I'm leaning into. That level of maturity that you have to walk in is totally different. And then you realize that I have no more mom, no dad. There's like this level of shielding that you no longer feel like you have. And those of you out there that understand what I'm talking about, put it in the comments that you know exactly what I'm saying. I hope I'm explaining myself well. Yes, I do have my godparents left, my godmother, one of them, who really takes her role in my life very seriously. She always has. And her and my mother, both of the godparents' mothers, they both had a good relationship with my mom. They were good friends, all of them. And but she's like, I'm here, you know. And the best part about me having my godmother, she'll say, I talk to your mom, I know how she feels. And it's a good way to have a little piece of my mom left, because I literally felt like, and I'm sorry guys, I don't mean to be all over the place, but literally my mom was my last piece to my dad, if that makes sense. And then, like, there are certain things I know about my mom, but there's certain things that I need to ask about my childhood that I can't really ask nobody else, because she has all the answers. And it's like, whatever the answer I need, God has to give me the answers, because I no longer have them. You know, my older sister, she's way in Texas. My other siblings, they're, you know, they're kind of wayward. Then I have younger ones under me that my dad had. But at the end of the day, y'all, I'm just saying the level of maturity that you have to come into. There's things that you got to embrace that you would normally not have to embrace had your parents been here. And welcome to the full world of adulthood, right? I've been there for a minute, but I'm just talking about there's another level to this thing. And anybody that loses their parent early, God bless them. Especially if you've lost your parent and you're 17 years old, or both parents. I cannot even imagine. You have to grow up fast, y'all. You just have to. But at any rate, guys, I also just wanted to just come on here and share a little bit about my thoughts. I'm going to be doing another video, because this one was a totally different video that I had planned to do. But I'm going to do another one, so you guys are probably going to get like a batch upload or something like that, or I'll release them at a different date. I have other ones I have to do. But guys, I want to say, remember to like, subscribe, and share. And if you want to support my channel any further, continue to come back, continue to press those likes and subscribe buttons, or share out. But if you want to do anything more than that, you can always send me anything through my Cash App. That would be wonderful. Not necessary, but if you feel like you just want to bless your girl, I'll leave that link in the chat. I will see you in a little bit.
Don't worry about me, I'ma be alright. Got G-O-D all over my life. Don't worry where I've been, what I did, how I came up. Everything was a sinner till they changed. Don't worry about me.